Это все блокпост. Тут ебашили, блядь.
The Ukrainian 63rd Brigade shows 23 dead Russian soldiers on a small patch of Ukrainian land near the dam between Ivanivka and Terny, reportedly after yet another failed Russian assault. Wave after wave, Russian soldiers are sent to die in futile assaults, thrown into battle with little regard for their lives. These so-called meat attacks, mass infantry charges against fortified positions, have become a signature of Russia's brutal and wasteful strategy. Poorly trained and ill-equipped, these men are treated as expendable, their bodies piling up on the battlefield. Commanders see them not as soldiers, but as numbers to be replaced. The result? Catastrophic losses, entire units wiped out, and families left without fathers, sons, and brothers. In occupied Kharkov, Donetsk Oblast, brave Russian soldiers, marauders, loot humanitarian aid from abandoned homes. They're especially awed by marvels of technology like washing machines and toilets, which they haul off as trophies. Igor Gherkin-Strelkov from prison believes Moscow may be forced into a 30-day ceasefire, which he sees as futile, leading to more future concessions. If fighting resumes, he says Russia will face a stronger enemy, but declining the ceasefire could prevent showing weakness. Yet he says the Kremlin will most likely agree. Regarding the situation with the so-called Trump peace, I consider it possible that Moscow may be forced to agree to a 30-day ceasefire. However, this will naturally bring us nothing, except for Ukrainian shelling, sabotage, provocations, etc., since afterward, we will inevitably be faced with demands for further concessions based on the infamous Kellogg Plan. And in the end, not being ready to capitulate to our partners, we will be forced to resume military operations, if they actually stop at all. However, by then, we will face a significantly strengthened enemy front in all directions, areas where the adversary is currently relatively vulnerable and unstable. After that, of course, we will be accused of disrupting the peace process, though we will be blamed for it regardless of what we do or don't do. Ukraine will receive new financial aid and weapons while we will face even harsher sanctions. And once again, we will return to the never-ending dilemma of fight or capitulate. And so on. It's not even worth repeating. If Moscow does not agree to the 30-day ceasefire, then everything described above will happen a month earlier. However, our respected partners will have no reason to suspect that Moscow is bending and about to break. As a result, they will be somewhat more cautious and not as brazen as in the first scenario. For example, there will be fewer pirate-like seizures of ships carrying our cargo, fewer blockades, and so on. For now, I cautiously estimate the probability of Moscow agreeing to the 30-day ceasefire at 7-3 in favor of agreement. Let's see how accurately I can guess the moral state of the Kremlin's inhabitants. Watching and waiting, with unwavering respect. Anti-drone nets, similar to those the Russians deployed near Bakhmut, have started appearing on Ukrainian logistical routes most vulnerable to Russian drones.
Это все блокпост. Тут ебашили, блядь. Дроны, сука. Нашу технику, блядь. Нельзя было проехать нихуя, блядь.
Trump envoy Witkoff, post-Moscow, says U.S. negotiators will meet the Ukrainian team separately and also the Russians this week to seek peace. He claims Putin backs Trump's vision, with a Trump-Putin call possible next week.
As we understand it, and please correct us if we're wrong, Putin's demands include, one, the complete surrender of Ukrainian forces in Kursk, that's that Russian region that Ukraine seized. Two, international recognition that Ukrainian territory seized by Russia no longer belongs to Ukraine. Three, limits on Ukraine's ability to mobilize its military. And four, a halt to Western military aid to Ukraine and a ban on foreign peacekeepers such as French or British soldiers in Ukraine. Is that accurate? And if that is accurate, It does sound as though Putin wants to keep the land that he seized, and then he wants Ukraine to not be able to defend itself in the future. Is Trump worried that accepting these conditions might just set the stage for another Russian invasion of Ukraine?
Jake, I would not call your description entirely accurate. Look, back before this visit, there was another visit, and before that visit, the two sides were miles apart in where they were. The two sides are today a lot closer. We had some really positive results coming out of Saudi Arabia, discussions led by our National Security Advisor, Mike Waltz, and our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. I described my conversation with President Putin as equally positive. So the two sides we've narrowed the differences between them, and now we're sitting at the table. I was with the President all day yesterday. I'll be with him today. We're sitting with him discussing how to narrow it even further. That's how I would describe it.
Can you tell us where they are right now? The 4 points I just outlined might be a meeting or two old. Where is Russia right now?
No, I think the four regions are of critical importance here, and we're in discussions with Ukraine. We're in discussions with all the stakeholder European countries. So that includes France, Britain, Norway, Finland, the whole host. And we're in discussions with the Russians, too, about those regions. We're also in discussions about all kinds of other elements that would be encompassed in a ceasefire.
President Volodymyr Zelensky signed a law that regulates the deployment of Ukrainian armed forces units to other countries that are not aggressors to ensure national security and defense. The amendments made by the president removed the provision requiring the Verkhovna Rada to make a decision on the deployment of Ukrainian armed forces units to other countries during the martial law period. Previously, the bill stipulated that the president would submit information to Parliament about the mission, the total number of the specified units, the type and composition of their weapons, military equipment, subordination, duration of stay, and the procedure for possible extensions, as well as the procedure for replacing personnel and their maintenance. The agreed version of the bill regulates the placement of Ukrainian armed forces units on the territory of other countries to carry out measures aimed at ensuring national security during the period of martial law. During the period of martial law, units, military units, and subdivisions of the armed forces of Ukraine may be sent to other countries and remain on the territory of these countries in accordance with Ukrainian legislation for the purpose of carrying out measures related to ensuring national security and defense, repelling and deterring armed aggression against Ukraine, protecting its sovereignty and territorial integrity, as well as exercising the right to self-defense in accordance with Article 51 of the Charter of the United Nations, states the proposed document.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comments section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.